Okay, this lecture is on finding equations of lines. In order to do equations of lines, we're going to use what I have written on this pad. This formula, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The y1 and the x1 are a specific point on the line. The m is the slope. So we're going to be plugging numbers in this formula, and we're going to rearrange it by solving for y and put it in the form y equals mx plus b. This form is called the slope-intercept form, and we're going to use it to help us graph the equation of the line. So what we do, if we're given 2 points, we first find the slope, then take one of the 2 points and the slope we just found and plug it in that formula. Now it sounds more complicated than it is. You're basically finding a number and plugging 3 numbers in the function, that equation, and simplifying it. Alright. Now here's an example of where I'm given the slope is 6, so it's already giving me a slope and it's giving me the point. So what we have to do is take the formula and plug those 3 numbers in. Now I want you to understand something. This is my x1 and that's my y1. So in this formula, we're going to have y minus the y1, which is 5. That equals the slope, which is 6. Now, this can be kind of tricky. Notice the parentheses has a minus, but my x is minus. So instead of x minus 2, it's going to be x plus 2, because the 2 minuses make a plus sign. So it's x plus 2. Now that I've got the numbers plugged in, what we're going to do is do the distributive property. Then we're going to add 5 to both sides, which will give me y equals 6x plus 17. This is the equation of the line. So I didn't have to find the slope on this problem, I just had to find the equation. So if you're given the slope, all you do is plug the 3 numbers in. Most of our problems are going to have 2 points. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to find the slope. If you can't remember the slope formula, just go back and look at your notes. But it's always the y is up top and the x is on the bottom. Alright, so the second y, this is the second y, let me make sure we got it. That's y2, that's y1. So the second y is 15, first y is 5. The second x is 8, the first x is 3. Now we're going to simplify it. Of course, 15 minus 5 is 10. 8 minus 3 is 5, so we'll get 2 for my slope. So that's the slope. Now we're going to take this formula and we're going to plug 3 numbers in. In the formula, I need a slope and a point. We just found the slope. All I need to do now is choose one of those points. Good news is, it doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to use the 3 and 5. So my formula now will be y minus the 5, because 5 is y1. My slope is 2. And it's x minus the x1, which is 3. Do the distributive property. Move the 5 over, and we'll get y equals 2x minus 1. That's my equation of my line. Here's another one. 2 points. First thing we're going to do is find the slope. Alright, so the second y is 6, first y is negative 2. The second x is 3, and the first x is negative 3. Now, let's go simplify this. In the top, we're going to get negative 8. How about positive 8? Positive 8. In the bottom, we're going to get positive 6. Simplify the slope as far as you can go. 4/3. This is the number we're going to use in the formula. Now, I want to use one of the points. It doesn't matter which point you use. I'm just going to choose this one because everything's positive. Why not? So we'll have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Alright, so the y in this point is 6. The slope is 4/3. And the x is 3. Do the distributive property. We're going to have 4/3 x. Now, we're multiplying I'll just do this. So we got 4/3 times 3. And just make it easy. Now, whoops. So now we have this. Negative 4/3 times 3. The 3's cancel out, and you're left with a negative 4. Remember, you're dividing. 3 goes into 3, cancels itself out. Now, we're going to add 6 to both sides. And we'll get y equals 4/3 x plus 2. Number 6, same thing. I mean, this is example 4, so I'm going to get 6 wrong. Find the slope. Second y is negative 2. The first y is 6. The second x is 3. Whoops, that's an ugly looking 3. Is 3, and the first is negative 3. Alright, so we end up with negative 8 in the top, positive 6 in the bottom. Simplify it, we'll get negative 4/3. That's my slope. Now, I've got to use one of these points. Doesn't matter which one you use. I guess I'll use this one. And we'll plug it in the formula. Alright, so now see that y is a negative 2. So here, the negative 2 cancels out the negative in the middle and becomes positive 2. Then we've got negative 4/3. And then we got x minus 3. Do the distributive property. Y plus 2 will be negative 4/3 x. Then plus 4/3 times 3. 2 negatives become positive. again, on the right side, the 3's will cancel themselves out, and we're left with a +4. And we subtract 2 from both sides. 4/3 x plus 2. That's the equation of the line. Let's do another one. Again, we're going to go find the slope. First, the second y is -5. First y is -5. 6, -2. Now, what's going to happen in the top is I get a 0. In the bottom, I get +8, but it doesn't matter. I end up with a 0 slope. Now, I mentioned this in the other video. Certain types of lines have a 0 slope. We're interested in the equation of this line with a 0 slope. So we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. Now, it doesn't matter which you choose. I guess I'll use this point. You'll get the same answer regardless. All right. So we're going to have y plus 5. The negative on the 5 and the negative between the y's make it a positive. My slope is 0. We're going to get x plus 2. Okay. I hope y'all realize this. This is 0 times anything. It's just 0. So we have this. Now it's still not in the right form. We've got to solve for y. So we got to move the 5 over and it becomes negative. This is a horizontal line. I'll show you how to graph those in just a few minutes. So the x, everything involving the x and the constant canceled out, and we're left with just 0. So y is equal to -5. Now here's an example. It's giving me what's called X-Intercepts and Y-Intercepts. Let me talk about what that means. An X-Intercept crosses the x-axis. The Y-intercept crosses the y-axis. Now, the X-intercept is a specific point. It's equal to -1/2, but it can also be written as -1/2 0. When something goes through the x-axis, the y value is 0. For the y-intercept, it's telling me it's 4. So as a point, we can rewrite the y-intercept as 0, 4. So if you're going through the y-intercept going through the y-axis, that means x is 0. If you go through the x-axis, the y is 0. These are the 2 points we use to find the slope. So it's not giving me the x and the y, it's giving me, on the x-intercept, it gives me the x, and we're supposed to remember the y is 0. On the y-intercept, it's giving me the y, and we're supposed to remember the x is 0. I ran out of room, so let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can add a slide. Oh, where are we at? Let's hold on just a second. Okay, let's insert a slide. Insert a new page. Okay. Now let's take those 2 points. -1/2 is 0 and 0, 4, and let's find the equation of a line. First thing we got to do is find the slope. So the second y is 4, so it's 4 minus 0, 0 minus negative 1/2. We'll end up with 4 in the bottom, 4 in the top, 1/2 in the bottom. Now, since we're dividing a whole number by a fraction, this is what it looks like. We're dividing by 1/2, which really means we multiply by the reciprocal. So we end up with a slope equal to 8. Now, take the formula. And choose one of those points. I think I would choose the point with y equals the 0. So I think I would use that first point. Now the reason I'm doing that, you know what? Let's do the other way. Let's use this one, and I'm going to show you why. That one, the y is 4 and the x is 0. So what we end up with is y minus 4 equals the slope of 8 times x minus 0. Using the x as 0, we're just going to have 8x. Then we move the 4 over, so the equation of my line turns out to be 8x plus 4. Now, this is the equation of my line. Now remember, in this form, this number is called the y-intercept. That's what we were told up front. So I got what we were told, so that means I've done it right. Now, general equation of a line looks like what I've got written on the screen. You'll have 3 terms, maybe 2 terms, it just depends. But you'll have an x term, a y term, and a constant. You will have whole numbers in front of those. What we're going to do is take this form and convert it to where it looks like this form. So we want to take this and turn it into y equals mx plus b. That's our goal. Turn it into that. Now, this is a simple process. Well, I say things simple all the time, but I'm hoping this is not that hard for you. These are the 2 steps. You're going to move the constant and the x term to the right side. So let's do that. You're going to move this over here, and we're going to move this over here. Now remember, when you're moving something across the equal sign, the sign changes. This positive 2x becomes negative 2x. Negative 18 becomes positive 18. That's the first step. Second step, divide both sides by the coefficient of, I put coefficient of x. That should be, let me change that. It should be a coefficient of y. Divide both sides by, in this case, 3. And we'll get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6. When we put it in this form, we can find the slope. The number in front of the x is the slope, so the slope is negative 2/3. The y-intercept is equal to 6. So if you're asked to find the slope in the y-intercept and you're given to it in that special form, you have to rearrange it, and then you can find the slope in the y-intercept. Let's do some more of these. Okay, first thing we're going to do is move the 6x over here and the negative 20 over here. Now, pay attention, there's a negative sign in front of that 5y. The 6x becomes negative 6x and the negative 20 becomes positive 20. That's the first step. Next step, divide everything by negative 5. Y equals positive 6 over 5x minus 4. So in this problem, the slope is 6/5. Oops. 6/5, and the y-intercept is negative 4. This next one, there's no x term, so I've got to move the negative 9 over here. It becomes positive 9. Then we divide by 3, and y will equal 3. This is a horizontal line. I'll be graphing those in just a few minutes. So when it's in that form, move the x term and the constant over, and divide by the number in front of the y. Now, graphing lines. You want to put the graph, or you want to put the equation in this form. This is the form that we're going to use. That's cool. Your slope acts as your directions. Your B, which is the y-intercept, is your starting point. You think of it like a race. You've got a starting point, and then you've got your directions. Now, remember, whoops, the slope is defined as rise over run. So your directions based on the slope is either up or down, in the top, and to the right in the bottom. This is what I do. If the top is positive, I go up that many points, and then I go to the right. If the top is negative, I go down that many, and then I still go to the right. This just helps to keep everything standard. Now, let's say I'll just do this. We have y equals 1/3 x minus 6. Alright. What you're going to do, you're going to start with the y-intercept. This is your starting point. So you're going to locate, you're going to locate negative 6 on the y-axis. Here it is. Put a little dot on negative 6. The slope gives me my directions. It's up 1 and to the right 3. So from this, I'm going to do a little different marker. So from the starting point, you walk up 1 step, and then you go over 3 steps. And you put your next point. There's my point. I know it's kind of weird. If I want to do another point, I would do the same thing. I would go up 1 and over 3. And put my next point. Then we would sketch the line the best we can. You really only need 2 points. You take the negative 6, you find that point on the graph. You go up and you go down. I mean, you go up and right, up and right, up and right. Alright. Let's go do another one. Let's say I have my my formula is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. All right. Starting point. That's a positive 2. So we're going to find positive 2 on the y-axis. And we're going to, that's interesting. We're going to, well, let me undo that. We're going to put a it's hard to make a spot here. All right, I'm going to put a point on the positive 2. Now my slope is negative 2/3. So we're going to go down 2 and to the right 3. Never go to the right first. You want to go down first or up first. So we're going to go down 2. We go down 2. We're going to end up, let me just do this. We go down, then we go over, and we draw our point. Just for the heck of it, we could do another one. We could go down 2 and over 3 and draw our next point. Then we can sketch the line. That's good enough. So do you see what's happening? The number, the constant is where you start. The slope gives you your directions. Right, let's do another one. Let's say we have y equals 3x minus 5. Okay, this time my slope is a whole number. In order to graph it, I need it to be a fraction. So if you have a whole number in front of the x, what you do is you just put a 1 under it. Alright. This number at the end, remember, is my starting point. So we're going to go find negative 5 on the y-axis. I don't like that. Let's do that again. All right. Now we're going to, and this time it's up 3 and to the right 1. So we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And we're going to draw our dot. And again, I could go up 3 and over 1 more, just to be on the safe side. Is that right? 1, 2. And then sketch our line. Yeah, something like that. So whole numbers, put it over 1. Alright. Let's do another one. We'll have y equals 4/3 plus 2. Alright. So this one, we're starting at 2. Y equals 2. That's my starting point. We go up 4 and over 3. It is possible to reverse this if you really, really wanted to. You could reverse, instead of going up 4 and to the right 3, we could go down 4 and to the left 3, and it would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's still going to be in the same. Now, you don't have to do that, but it's possible if you want to reverse it and go the other direction, you got to change your directions. Change the opposite directions. But starting point, chart directions. Now, let's talk about horizontal and vertical lines. This is a horizontal line. It says locate 5 on the y-axis and draw a line through it. That's all that means. This is a horizontal line. The problem is it's not solved for y. What you have to do is you have to solve for y. You end up with y equals 3. So we would locate 3 on the y-axis, draw a line through it. Suppose I had this. 4y plus 6 equals negative 10. We have to solve for y when we're graphing these equations. First thing you got to do is move the 6 over, subtract 6 from both sides. We'll get negative 16 on the right. Divide by 4 and we'll get negative 4. So this is a horizontal line. We locate negative 4 and draw a line through it. So horizontal lines only have one variable, and that variable is a y. Vertical lines involve just an x. This is a vertical line. This is a vertical line. You would locate this 3 on the x-axis, and then you would draw a straight line through it. Whoops, what happened there? Oh, that's straight enough. X is negative 6. We would locate negative 6 on the y-axis and draw a line through it. If you have a number in front of the variable, well, let's make that 10. Let's just make it 18. You have to divide by the number, and that will give you the line and width number you need to go through. We would go to 9. What happened here? Oh, 9, and draw a line through it. It's possible you could see something like this. You have to get the x by itself, so we're going to subtract 9 from both sides to get this. Divide by negative 3, so we'll get x to be positive 1. So we would go locate positive 1 and draw a line through it. So x only, it's a vertical, y only, it is a horizontal.